Hey everybody, welcome to another responsive design video. In this video, I want to talk about responsive images. Before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about how browsers get images to display. Up until now, we've always done this to make an image display in the browser. We use the image tag, img, with the source attribute, and then we choose a path to a certain source. So I'm going to go with reflect 1500px.jpg because that's an image that I have in this directory. And we add an alt tag to make it friendly to people that use adaptive devices. So I would put in some sort of description. Right? That's how we've always done it. What happens is the browser is going to parse through all of the markup. When it gets to the image, it's going to find the source attribute, and it's going to then go to the server and try and load that image from the server. Now, if that server, or if the browser has already visited that web page and has seen that image is stored in a kind of memory called cache. And it's going to then load it from cache in order to save traffic to the server and make load times faster. All right, so kind of like the image is already preloaded and it's going to just grab it from there. That's how we've always done it. Let's take a look at the new way of doing it. That's a responsive way of doing it. We've got something called srcset. Srcset says that there are a set of images that I can play with. I've got a set of images somewhere on that server in that directory, and it's going to choose one of those images based on certain rules. Okay, so here, srcset. I've got three different images. I've got reflect 500 JPG, and then I'm saying that that's going to be at 500 W. W is a unit of measurement that is basically like pixels. I'm not going to go into what that's all about right now. That's for another time. But it's saying that this image is going to be 500 width. This image is going to be 1000 width, and this image is going to be 1500 width. All right? So that's what the srcset does. It allows us to establish a series of images that may be loaded into the browser based on certain rules we set. And we set those rules using the sizes attribute. The sizes attribute allows us to determine at what sizes those different images will load. And I need to have arguments that will match each of those images. So you see srcset is a comma-separated list of different images, image files that it can choose from. So this is my first image that it can choose from, then comma, second image that it can choose from, comma, and then third image that it can choose from. Well, the sizes needs to have those arguments as well. So I've got one argument here that's for the first image, and it's saying that if the browser is ever at a size that's lower than 500 pixels, it's going to choose this image. So max width says, up until I reach that maximum, we're going to use this image. Okay, so it's going to use that 500 pixel image, and it's going to put it in a 500 pixel slot. Then, if I get above 500 and I'm below a max width of 1000 pixels, it's going to get this image, the 1000 width image, and put it into a 1000 pixel slot. And then it's going to take this image and it's going to put it into a 1500 pixel slot. Okay, that's how this works. You've got these two things that work in conjunction. Srcset, which provides the list of images that we can choose from, and then sizes, which sets up the rules at which it's going to serve those different images. So let's test this in a browser. I'm going to right-click and open with Firefox. I'm going to right-click and open with Chrome. And I'm going to look at Firefox first, and then I'll look at Chrome. So I want to show you how to use the dev tools for this. The dev tools are the inspector. So if we right-click on it, we choose Inspect. It's going to bring up our development tools down here. And we've got a little button in Firefox that allows us to go into responsive design mode, which is also Control-Shift-M. When I go into responsive design mode, it allows us to set a width and a height for the browser. It allows us to set a pixel density. I'm going to set the pixel density right now to 1. And then you can see that my browser window is 492 pixels wide, which is lower than 500. If I look at the rules that I said that if the browser is below a max width of 500, it's going to serve this image. And sure enough, it is, right? You can see that? Now, if I make this wider, get up above 1,000 or above 500, see 500, there's my breakpoint. I go to 1,000. If I get up to 1,500, there I go. I get above my 1,000 breakpoint, it starts serving the 1,500 pixel image. Pretty cool, huh? Let's look at it in Chrome. Let's see how this works in Chrome. I'm going to right click, I'm going to inspect. I'm going to make sure that my DPR is set to 1, so my pixel density is set to 1. And my width is 397. Just like I expected, it's loading the 500 pixel image. It's not loading the 500 pixel image. My width of my browser right now is 397, but it's loading the 1,500 pixel image. Remember I said that there's something called cache memory? The browser has this memory that's set aside that allows us to preload images. And Chrome is always going to load the best image for the job. So if it notices that there's a very high resolution image stored in cache, one that will fit the needs of the assignment, it's going to load it. So right now Chrome is seeing that even though I'm below 500, it's already got an image in cache. So it's not going to go and retrieve my 500 pixel image and load it. It doesn't need to because it's got a better one. So it's doing something to limit the amount of traffic. Well, we can get around that. If we're in these dev tools here, I can right click on the reload button and do empty cache and hard reload. Now it emptied that cache and it hard reloaded, so it made that query over to the server and it grabbed the appropriate image based on the rules. It sees that the browser width is below 500, so it serves the 500 pixel image. I'm going to go up above 500 and you'll see that it'll start serving the 1,000 pixel image. But now when I go below, it's going to keep using that 1,000 pixel image unless I empty cache and hard reload, okay? So Chrome is a little bit fussy with this, but it still works. I get above 500, use that 1,000 pixel image, I get above 1,000, and it's going to use that 1,500 pixel image. So there you have it. That's the basics of responsive images. This is by no means a full tutorial on how to do this and the strategies by which you set those rules or anything. This is just the nuts and bolts of how it actually works, what the source set is and what the sizes are and what values you can put into them to make things happen. There is so much more reading that you could possibly do out there to learn how to do this appropriately, but this video is not the time and place for it. Anyways, thanks for watching and tune in for more responsive design videos.